Well, hello again, and welcome to our reading of Mark's Gospel. We're in chapter 9 at verse 14. Now, Jesus and the other disciples have been up on the mountain for the transfiguration, and now they come down, and they are the subject of the participle here. This is the story of the healing of the boy with unclean spirit, and it's also in Matthew and Luke have versions of this particular pericope. And having come to the disciples, that is, the subject of this is Jesus and the other disciples who were with him. They come back to the disciples. They saw a great crowd around them, and the grammates, these are the scribes, sut setuntas, accusative participle from sut satio, debating with them, and immediately, Mark's favourite word, pas hooklos. Now this is all the whole crowd. Now it's grammatically singular, but Mark puts a plural participle here, so it's really constructio ad sensum here, because you'd expect a singular participle rather than a plural one, but because this is has a sense of plurality about it, he's using a plural participle. So the whole crowd, having seen him, ex ethembe thesan, aorist passive, they were exceedingly amazed. The ex emphasises the thambio is to cause amazement, and this is the aorist passive, so they were exceedingly amazed. Kai pros trekontes, present participle, treko is to run, so running to him. This is from aspasdamai, imperfect. They began to greet him. And he asked them, why do you dispute with them? Why are you debating or disputing with them? And one of the crowd answered him, O teacher, einenka, this is weak aorist ending, it's actually a strong aorist verb from Pharaoh. I brought my son to you, having, participle agreeing with huion, a pneuma alalon, so a spirit which is dumb, that is, which makes the boy unable to speak. This alpha privative plus this lalio root. And hopu e'an for an, so wherever, literally, probably better to translate it as whenever, but it's actually wherever. Now the subject is this spirit, this unclean, this pneuma. So wherever the spirit takes hold of him, rese auton. Now this verb is not quite clear exactly what this is. Some say it's a late form of rapto or orasso, to strike. Others take it as a late form of regnumi, to break. The basic meaning seems to be it knocks him to the ground, but it's not quite clear exactly what this is from. Luke changes this verb to sparasso in his account of the same story, which makes a lot more sense. That just means convulses. But Luke, as usual, Mark's usually just chosen this fairly vague word here. Kai aphrisde. Now this means, by the way, notice the sounds here. Aphrisde, kai trisde. Greek likes sound patterns, and we get a nice little combination here. This word is very rare. It only occurs in the New Testament here and a bit lower down. The word aphros means foam, and so aphrisdo is to foam at the mouth. And trisde is again a very vague word. It's poetic word. It's in Homer. It has more the sense of scream, often used of bats, and it's an onomatopoetic word, tris. So it's used here of gnashing of teeth. Again, it's appropriately vague, but the sound pattern was nice, which may have tempted Mark to use these two words. And he foamed at the mouth, and he gnashed his teeth. And again, a very strange word. Rhino is to dry up. So it may mean possibly becomes stiff. Others say becomes exhausted. It's a bit like our English word freezes up. So he froths at the mouth, he gnashes his teeth, and he becomes stiff. From, say, rhino, and this is the passive here, he is stiffened. And I said to your disciples that they might cast it out, aorist subjunctive, and they were not strong enough. This is the aorist from iskuo, to be strong. And he, having answered to them, he says, historic present, O genea apistos. Now genea is feminine, and apistos is one of those two termination adjectives, because it's a compound of alpha privative plus pistos. And so although this is feminine, it's got the os ending on here. Heos poti pros hemas esamai, until when will I be with you? Until when will I put up with you? From an echo. This is the future from an echo in put into the middle. So an ekomai, to bear with. Bring him to me. So this is imperative, and auton is referring to the boy. And they brought, again from Pharaoh, aorist, him to him. That is, they brought the boy to Jesus. And the subject here is the Spirit. The Spirit, having seen him, immediately, there's Mark's favourite word again, son esparaxen. Now here's this sparasso word with son, so it's to convulse. If you're looking this up, this is sparasso with double sigma, and this is the aorist form. The root is sparag, and then the gamma becomes a psi before the sigma in the aorist. So it convulsed him, and having fallen on the ground, ekuliato, this is from kuliamai. This is a late form of kolindo, is the classical word. We get our word cylinder from that, and kuliamai is a late form of that. So he was rolled about, so he rolled about afrisdone, there's that word we had up here before, he foaming at the mouth. So he's having some sort of epileptic fit. And that he asked his father, Posos chronos estin, literally how long, so how much time is it that this has happened to him, literally. So how long has this happened to him? How long has this been going on for? And he said, ek paidiothen. So the then is that old ablative from, so from his boyhood. Kai polykis, and oftentimes also ebalen, he casts, we have to think perhaps the demon is the subject of this, or it could be just he falls. He perhaps will take it that way. So he falls in, no, it's cast him, isn't it, the auton, so it must be the demon. The demon casts him into the fire and into water in order that it might destroy him. This is from Apollumi. And if, dune tip, but if you in any way are able, boetheson, this is aorist imperative, assist us, splank nistes, this is from that splank nisdamai verb, having had compassion upon us. And Jesus said to him, what is this if you are able? All things are possible for the one believing, dative participle here. Euthos, immediately, the father, cruxas, from krasdo, aorist participle, having cried out, so the father of the boy, having cried out, began to say, pistuo, I believe. Boethe, this is imperative, it's boetheo, so we get the the imperative ending, which contracts to that. So this is an imperative. So assist or help the unbelief of me. It takes a dative. So I believe, help my unbelief. And Jesus, having seen that the crowd, sun epitreke, this is the treke, to run together towards him, he rebuked the spirit, the unclean spirit, saying to it, to alalon kai kophon pneuma, O dumb and deaf spirit, I give command to you, come out, aorist imperative, from him, and no longer, aorist subjunctive, enter into him. And having cried out, kai pola sparaxas, there's that sparasso again, aorist participle, having convulsed him muchly, having convulsed him a lot, exhaled, then he came out. And it happened as if a corpse. So he was as though a corpse. So he became like a corpse, so that the others to say, so it's hosty plus accusative infinitive, so that many said that he has died. This is from aorist, from apothnesco. So hosty plus infinitive, so that the many said that he's died, and Jesus, having taken hold, aorist participle, of his hand, kratio takes a genitive, lifted him up and, well, stood him up, from anaste, and having come into his house, his disciples privately were asking him, and then hoti recitative, so the hoti here is like tit, rather, so why were we unable, this is that funny augment from Adunio, why were we unable to cast him out? And he, that's Jesus, said to them, this genos, well, this generation, this literally race, so this sort, is able to come out en udeni, in by nothing except by prayer. So if we try that, n is that seems to by. So this type of demon, understood, is able to come out in no way except by prayer. So by no means except by prayer. And that's the end of that little section.